All right. Well, I am so excited to talk to you about Imaginary, which I think is excellent. I've watched it twice now. Um, so what kind of drew you to this particular project?
I love genre films that feel character driven and grounded in something outside of the wild circumstances that the characters find themselves in. So, I there was a point at which Jeff turned to me and he was just like, "Are we shooting a family drama?" And I was like, "Yes, Jeff. For my money, we are shooting a family drama."
That's so interesting. Because it really is at the heart of it. Like I mean, it's just also
Yeah.
crazy horror
Yeah.
shit happens.
Also demonic bears and entities and creatures.
Now, are you a horror fan at all? Is that a genre you like?
Love horror. Love horror.
Awesome.
I think, I realized I was joking about it because there have been a couple of people in my life, my brother-in-law among them, who I was like, this movie is not that scary. Like it's a gateway horror movie, like calm down or whatever. And it made me remember that at the end of the day, I'm a kid who grew up in a city. I grew up in Baltimore. And, there's something about being like a city kid where, you're just like, I'm not scared of anything. So I'm sure I was watching movies growing up that I should not have been watching growing up. But horror teaches you, it's like you can practice fear. It's a safe space to be like, oh, my body's feeling stressful, but I'm okay. And that's what horror gives us.
Now, you filmed in New Orleans. What was that like? Was that an enjoyable shoot?
I love New Orleans so much. I love New Orleans so much. I think it was my first time filming in New Orleans, but not my first time being there. And speaking of Baltimore, it reminds me, like the community of New Orleans reminds me so much of Baltimore. It's just like really super grounded, very generous, um, honest. The food is phenomenal, very important. Priorities are in order.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we just had the most amazing and beautiful time. Like our producers on it, Paul and Paige, they cast the crew in a way that most casting directors, cast actors. Like they were so thoughtful about how everyone would get on, and it was just a dream.
Yeah, I would say like the chemistry between everybody is really great. Like I can certainly feel like this is a family. And to that end, I know, shooting schedules are very tight, but did you all have like time to sort of bond and connect prior to shooting?
Not a lot of time prior, but I think something you can't see my dog. This is Oprah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
something you can't like underestimate is just how much time you're spending, on set. Like it's if we didn't have time offset, it's because I worked every day but one. That was one of those roles where it's just like Jessica works every day. So, there wasn't a lot of like, oh, let's hang out free time. But when we're at work, we're like just there together, getting in trouble. Um, you know, figuring out how to keep ourselves like buoyant when it's like late at night, the whole bit. So, and I'm one of those actors who like if I'm on set, my phone is like in the trailer. Like my phone is not with me. I try to be as radically present as humanly possible. So yeah, we got in some good, we got in a lot of hang time.
nice. Now, you being a horror fan, you got to work with Betty Buckley, who of course was in some really great genre stuff. Carrie, what was it like working with her? Was that a blast?
Beyond a blast. Yeah, I mean beyond like above whatever is like eight steps above
Mm.
a blast was working with Betty Buckley because she's also, there's certain actors who are just have like these stories. Like I am proudly boring, okay? I like go to work and go home. That is not Betty Buckley. Betty Buckley is a story machine and she has so many gems. And I wish that for all of us.
That's so cool. Um, Now, in the movie, of course, you play a stepmom. Did you feel like that maternal energy kind of rubbed off in the real world, like real life? Like, did you give like your young cast members like some advice? Like, how did that go down?
I'm naturally, I mean, I've like, I realized I joined SAG in like almost 20 years ago. It was like 2005. And, not for nothing, I feel like I've been mentoring before I had anything to talk about. Like I've been mentoring actors since the beginning, which is ridiculous. But I mean, I do it naturally. I enjoy it a lot. And and I remain, I felt very protective of not just their performances, but the experience that they were having. And I know how, for myself, so many early career and even still, like every, production experience an actor has really has a lot of power to influence, just how they move forward in so many respects. And I think they gained a lot of little tools and tricks just by working with me. And I take the leadership in lead very, very seriously.
Nice. Now there is like that amazing scene with the bear monster. I think that is so cool, and it's just so impressive that that is like not CGI. That's like it was there and present. What was it like filming those scenes? Because I'm like, yeah, it's one of those. I'm yelling at the screen. I'm like, run
Yeah,
away, get out.
yeah, yeah. Um, Extraordinary. It's just extraordinary. There was a moment one of our crew members took a photo of Dane in that suit, and he was kind of like sitting on the set of the Never Ever. And it's just like this extraordinary, like where the wild things are set. Like there's so much about those creatures that are essentially like Jessica's illustrations come to life. That's all those monsters are. And it was almost like it was terrifying, as an actor when you have all those elements, for sure. But it was also just like awe-inspiring. You know what I mean? Like you look around and you just see the work of all these extraordinary craftspeople. And yeah, I just remember just feeling like in awe on a number of instances.
And I'm sure like working with like something like that would be just it. Not that it's not easy, but it's probably easier than
It
just
is.
like working against like green screen or
I mean, I've said this or whatever, but it's like I haven't had the green screen experience. Like at this point, I feel like I need to have the green screen experience just so I have like a point of reference, to see if it can I deliver? But I've been very lucky in that I haven't had to like learn it yet.
So I have one final question. If they do an imaginary two, which I'm putting the positive intentions out there, we're setting the attention. Would you come back to the role?
I feel like I would probably, it's one of those journeys that feels a little complete. I would want to see a sequel starring kids.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I would love to EP a sequel, but I think it'd be really, really cool if it was just like, I don't know, set in you know, um, like a modern day foster home or something. You know what I mean? Like continuing the themes and the threads from the first one, but like with kids, just with
That's
kids.
interesting.
Mhm.
Well, I would absolutely pay to see that. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. Again, the movie's awesome. And thank you so much again.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.